Hello and welcome to Wait for Real.
A true crime and paranormal podcast. I'm Grace,
And I'm Katie.
and we're counting this as my birthday episode, I guess.
That's right. Yeah, no, it is.
It's a week after my birthday. It feels like my birthday never even happened,
I was like,
honestly.
can you good God, believe that Halloween happened? Like,
Oh my
where was
gosh.
I for that?
I don't know, but I was sick. I mean, you guys all know because if you listened to the episode last week, I sounded like death. And I felt like death on my birthday, which was really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Is that what it means to get old? It's like every day just hurts more?
I don't know. I texted Grace the other day and I was like, help me. How do I survive winter? I was like, damn, my immune system is weak as fuck.
You're like,
Like,
I'm
what
just
is
out
happening?
here
I'm like,
fighting
am
for
I
my
getting
life.
sick every week or what is happening to me? Like, I don't understand. Why do
Winter's a
I
trap,
feel
man.
like a sickly Victorian child? Like, I would for sure have died in the winter back then, you know?
Oh my god, I wouldn't have even made it out of the fucking womb with my bad eye. They would have been like, put that demon baby away.
They'd literally be like, this is a bad omen.
Literally.
Great start to this episode,
Yeah,
really.
sorry guys. Yeah, I would have been nope, Grace reeled in. I'm gonna keep that thought to myself.
I want to take all of the times that you've said that and play, like, have a live round with fans. Play each clip, and then it's like, they have to fill in the blank. What do you think Grace is going to say here?
It's something extremely inappropriate and or will get me canceled.
Yes.
But yeah. So yeah, my birthday was good. It was uneventful. Um and I think that's what our lives are now, is just being like, yeah, that happened.
Yeah. And now the next thing is
The
Thanksgiving.
holidays.
Come on.
But you don't get off for Thanksgiving in Canada.
That's okay. I took off. Don't you worry about that.
Canada.
Yeah.
I love every time someone asks me like where you live, I'm always like, oh, she lives in Canada. And they're like, the where? And I was like, oh my God. It's, I'm like,
Uh,
I promise I'm not completely glitching. It's just me making a joke that no one else finds funny.
it's too
So
funny. You're like, you have to figure it out. That's part of the fun.
that's part of the fun. Okay. So for this week's episode, I said that I was going to cover some of the like dark history I learned about when I was in Charleston, South Carolina.
Hmm.
And of course, I have everything in 30 tabs. So
Love
that's
that.
really helpful for us. Um, Let me pull up the first part I wanted to have. And you have not been to Charleston, right?
Yes, I have many times.
Oh shit, you have been. Why did I
Yeah.
think you haven't been?
Remember Amanda lived there?
Oh my gosh, she did. Why did I think she lived in Charlotte? Did she live in
She
Charlotte
did live
too?
in Charlotte.
We're just giving, actually, her address is 1-8.
Everybody write this down. No, just kidding. She doesn't live in either of those cities anymore, and I'm not telling you where she lives.
Okay, so did you do ghosty stuff while you were there?
I mean, yeah, I've been to Charleston like many, many times, but
Oh
I
shit.
don't fucking remember anything.
Why
This
did
is
I?
I don't know why you thought I hadn't been there. I also had a friend that did like medical school there.
I know, but I'm wondering why we haven't discussed this more.
Charleston? When would Charleston ever come up in conversation? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I don't know, but for my day job, one of the programs I'm working on is going to be moved to Charleston, so I'll be going
Hmm.
there more, I think, which is exciting. I liked it in terms of like the food scene
Yeah.
and how expensive everything. I did not like that part.
Yeah. Very small town.
Espresso martini was $25. That's
That's
highway robbery.
that's insane. I don't even think it's that expensive here. We're just saying something because it's fucking expensive here.
Yeah, I also like had never heard, like I knew nothing about Charleston before I went. The only reason why I like had a couple of ideas is because my stepsister had lived there, and I'm shocked that I didn't ask you for suggestions on where to eat, even though you've been there a million times. This is the most on par thing for me ever. Uh, Anywho, let's do a quick little history lesson on Charleston for those who do not know anything about it,
Okay.
because it's got some fucked up history. So basically this like charleston.com, like visit Charleston, for a short like founding in early years of Charleston, South Carolina. In the spring of 1670, more than 150 English colonists, their servants and slaves, disembarked on what we know today as Charleston Harbor. The first name, Charles Town, was given it to honor King Charles II. The settlement was an excellent strategic location, so it had more than 1,000 residents in just 10 years. In the 1680s, America, that was quite a lot. And basically, South Carolina became a very popular moving destination. So people used Charleston as a trading location. It had a port, it was connected to the water. But this also brought a lot of negativity to the area because one big thing that they were trading was slaves. That's the history behind that's like so dark and depressing, and I don't think I would do it justice, which is why I'm not going to touch on it too much. But also in addition to that, it brought about a lot of disease and violence. So Charleston's got it's got a lot going on in terms of the history of it, hauntings, spooky stories that people tell, whatever. With that being said, there are a shit ton of ghost tours you can do, night tours, dark history tours, horse-drawn carriage history tours, all the tours.
Yeah.
There's a million of them. And I didn't realize, I mean, I guess, no, Orlando doesn't have that type of history, but I'm trying to think, I guess like when I was in Philadelphia, they have a ton of history tours too, because these are cities that have so much history.
Yeah.
That
Like Savannah and St.
yeah.
Augustine and
Yeah, that's
the
true.
OGs.
The OGs. So true. I feel like Charleston's history is darker than Savannah, though. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't know about that.
No?
I mean, basically all of Savannah, like you're on top of dead bodies.
Well, I think you are a little bit in Charleston, too, now.
You are. They're very close. They're very similar
I mean,
cities.
all icky, but like, yet
Both
here I
like
am being a
big
tourist.
slave trade posts for both cities. So, I
Yeah.
mean, I think all bad.
Yeah. You are not wrong. So I'm going to cover a couple of stories that I heard on one of my tours, but also some of them I like couldn't find information on. So I'm like, maybe I got scammed. And I'm embracing it anyways, so it's fine.
I love that. Tell us.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start with the first one, which is talking about Philadelphia Alley. So
Mhm.
Philadelphia Alley is a long brick paved corridor connecting Church and State Streets in Charleston's French Quarter. I have like really cool pictures of everything I talk about too, so I'm going to put them on our Instagram, or I'll send to Katie to put on her Instagram because supposedly it's not letting me post anything. And our like the pictures I took, it's okay, sorry, sidebar already. Shocker.
It's okay.
So now with the new iPhone, when you go to take pictures of like in nighttime, it does like that really slow timer release to get a clearer photo,
Yeah.
which I think is killing our chances of seeing ghosts.
Orbs, you mean?
Yeah.
What
Which
do
I
you
know your
know?
thoughts on orbs, but I love a good orb. But I'm saying like even shadows or all these things, I feel like now with the new iPhone, I'm like, damn, these pictures are too crisp.
Too crisp.
Too
No.
crisp.
Yeah, we could go into a whole thing about the evolution of photography and how like ghosts have shown up in film. We should do that one day. Not today, but one day.
We should.
Um, I agree. I think you can turn that off though, by the way, on
You
yours.
can, yeah. So
Okay,
I would
yeah.
do like when we were in a cemetery at one point, I would like have it on and be like, these pictures are too nice. And then I'd turn it off and take a couple pictures. They'd be complete trash. And I'd be like,
Yeah.
all right, well, back to the other setting.
You got to do like
Um,
burst photos.
Listen, you're lucky that I even knew how to turn off that. I'm like the
Please,
person
you're
that like goes to a show and like turns on their flash by accident and then is like
That's true.
embarrassed for, yeah, that's me.
That's true, but you are very tech savvy, so
I sometimes, but when it comes to the iPhone, everything makes me mad.
yeah, that's fair.
And yet I will never give up on it.
Yeah.
You'll never see me with an Android.
Every day I get closer.
Really?
They come out with the BlackBerry. Goodbye, iPhone. They're
I would
lucky
like
that BlackBerry sold their rights
let's
to cell phones.
let's let's bring back the Razor.
It came back. They
No, I want
reinvent
the do you
the
remember the
OG.
the Razor that was like the thick keyboard one and you
That's the
slide it up?
sidekick. Yeah, the sidekick.
Yeah.
Yes, they're
I
coming
want
back
one of
too.
those.
They're coming back with so like Razer redid their phones. It was enough for me to be like, hmm? And
Razor
then
has cell phones again?
yeah, they're flip phones, and it's like the screen on the little one that you
Dang.
open up and it's a full screen. But Sidekick also announced that they'll be bringing back a new version of that. But I'm like, I want the OG BlackBerry. Don't make it newer.
I want a beeper. Let's get back to the
Yeah.
beepers.
I want a home phone. Someone get me a home phone.
I like never realized that home phones like weren't a thing anymore because my dad still has one
Yeah.
and it's a duck phone, so it quacks.
That's amazing, actually. But can you imagine now, like, if you came to sleep over at my place, like you come to Canada, you're sleeping over, and then you hear quacking in the middle of the night? Would you not shit yourself?
I would, but I also was that like it was one of those things that we just told people we had a duck phone when they
That's
came over.
well, yeah, but like now, if you went to someone's house and they had a duck phone and you didn't know that they had a landline that rings in the middle of the night,
I would do one of those things where like wake you up and like just we'd both be like laying there in bed. I'd just do like the side look at you and be like, "You hearing that?" Like I
like
wouldn't say anything. I'd want. I would. What?
when you look at your animal to see if they're freaking out about something, it's like the middle of the night. You're like, okay, they're chill, so I'm gonna be
Yeah,
chill about
literally,
this.
Pancake is never sensed chill ever. Since he's become an only child, he has turned into the most skittish little shithead.
Since birth, he has been skittish.
Like a car just started in my driveway, and you would have thought that he has been stabbed.
Yeah, he's under attack right now, actually.
His hair's all up. Poor guy.
Oh,
If only he would eat the Xanax I would give him.
I know. He would feel so much better.
Right? Okay, oh my god, we never even got into I got through one sentence. Let's
It's
get back to
okay.
this, Grace. Focus. Focus, focus. Okay. So Philadelphia Alley. It's a pathway that appears on maps in the Holy City as far as back to the 18th century. So this path is like crazy busy all the time. It is like an easy cut through, saves you from having to go all the way down the block, but it's a brick, like cobblestone type road. And there's not much going on with it, but it has like these really pretty ferns on one side and, you know, lined with all this moss. And then it's like a stoned fence side. And then the other side is the back of buildings.
Hmm.
And it's a huge tourist spot. And the reason behind that is because it is supposedly hella haunted. So legend has it that the passage was originally used for moving cattle. So they called it Cow Alley. And this was, you know, obviously way back when. And I'm like, I don't even have any, I think it was like the 1700s when that was like
Okay.
using it to move livestock. And it wasn't until the 1800s that the stretch of bricks were dubbed Philadelphia Alley for the city of brotherly love after some aid was rendered in the wake of a massive fire that left Charleston charred and smoldering.
Hmm.
And the other term for this alley would be called Dueler's Alley, as in dueling. And if you are someone who has watched Hamilton, because that's where I get all of my history facts from, dueling is a thing. No.
Yes.
um, and essentially, so I didn't really realize this, that dueling is not always going to end in somebody being shot.
Hmm.
So whenever people would duel, it would be something similar to essentially saying like, I want to duel, like I'm calling you to a duel, and it's because I want to say that I think you are wrong or you are not showing your like true
Respect.
respect or
Yeah.
self. And you still count, like you go the 10 paces, you turn around, and then whoever was, so say, okay, I'm trying to think of the correct term here, but say I basically say, Katie, I want to have a duel.
Hmm.
Katie is the first person that's allowed to shoot. Then I would shoot after because I had called it first. But a lot of times people don't shoot. It's just essentially say if you show up, that's showing like your respect towards the other person. But obviously there's a lot of duels that went sideways with that. And so there was one that I can't find. So again, might be just some bullshit that this person told me in the story. But essentially this gentleman had moved to Charleston and had befriended someone who was pretty well off in the neighborhood. And they were best of friends, like always out and about. And the wealthy guy had fallen upon hard times, while the other gentleman had then become affluent and wealthy and like eating amongst the rich type thing, and basically like left his friend in the dust.
Hmm.
And so as a part of their fight between the two of them, they called themselves to a duel. They showed up in Philadelphia Alley, and the one gentleman had not intended to shoot at him, but accidentally pulled the trigger. and shot him in the stomach instead of like, like a non-life threatening wound would be like, I don't know, like the leg or something. But in the 1800s,
I
I think
mean,
everything was going to kill
everything is
you.
life. Yeah, I was like,
Like it's
back
all going to
then,
take you out, right? But
gangrene. Yeah, like it's
yeah, literally
bite.
everything is a disease.
Yeah.
Um, and so this gentleman obviously is shot. He dies several days later, but they have like a little plaque to his name in Philadelphia Alley. And that's where they said the most sightings of a ghost are seen. You'll hear him whistling. They called him the Whistler. So when you walk down the alley at night, you would think you might hear whistling. You could probably not pay me to walk down this alley at night by myself. It was one of those things where like I was in the back of the tour because I wanted to get the pictures without people in it. And then like I spooked myself being in the alley by myself before leaving it. Like I was like, oh my God, I don't like it in here. Like I was like, this no, no, no.
See, give it like a year, and Grace would be like, I'll do it. There's enough money. Because that's what she said when we first started a podcast about haunted hotel rooms. I will never stop bringing this up.
I
And then
know.
we stayed in a haunted hotel room, and it was her idea.
We did. We did indeed. Yeah. No, but I also, so let me caveat this with I was on the tour with a colleague who is a friend. And
Hmm.
I don't want to say their name because I didn't get permission or anything.
Yeah.
So they were also really into it, which was nice. You know what I
Okay, good.
mean? And
Yes.
these tours, you can either have a hit or a miss with your group, because sometimes the
True.
group doesn't take
So
it seriously
true.
or they're drunk or they're being stupid. Or other times they also let kids on this, which was horrible. I mean,
Yeah.
they weren't in my group, so dodged a bullet
Thank
on
God.
that one. But my group was like very serious about everything, which I loved. Like, I
Yeah.
love when people are like fully into it or they're not trying to debunk everything this guy was telling us.
Yeah.
And the guy that was our tour guide, he had this really heavy, like Southern accent, and he spoke really slowly. And I'm like, I'm even scared of him now.
Yeah.
Like,
He's a ghost.
he is indeed. Yeah. So, anyways, Philadelphia Alley was one of the major stops. It's really pretty during the day. I mean, the pictures look pretty, but it's also like one of those things where like now they have street lights on there because I think it also has some crime associated with it in today's times, which
Makes
makes
sense.
sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that was one stop. Next stop I'm going to talk about is the church. It's St. Philip's Church.
Okay.
So Charleston's called the Holy City because there's a fuck ton of churches there.
Did you know that? Oh, wait. Am I going to ruin this? And this is the
No,
next thing you're going to say. Okay. So
tell
it
me.
used to be a law. I don't know if it is anymore. But in Charleston, there used to be a law that you couldn't build a building higher than the tallest steeple, which is why all of their buildings are so short.
Yes, it is.
Hmm.
I did have a sentence about that, but I'll let you take that one.
I'm so sorry.
It's no, you're good, babe. You're good. I
On
forgot you
your
even went
birthday
there.
episode, too. I'm like, wait, I know this one.
She was like, "Did you actually know that you're a fucking liar?" No.
Grace is like
Um,
crossing out her next sentence. She's like,
I'm
wow.
just gonna no. I mean, this is all over the place because I'm basically trying to go half from memory, half from what I looked up. So it's just a free for all here.
I love
But
it.
so St. Philip's Church, I'm not going into the history of it because it's old as crap and it's a church. And
Yeah.
like I said earlier, there was a massive fire that swept through Charleston. So it
Hmm.
definitely damaged the church. And then like they just like picked up and moved churches sometimes, which I didn't know was a thing. Like
Yeah.
I can't picture them just picking it up and moving it. Like they
Yeah.
actually did.
They did that in Savannah too. That's how all
I
the bodies
know.
ended up
But I'm
everywhere.
like, how are we moving buildings like that? Like it
It's like
doesn't.
an actual thing. So like historic buildings. There's one in Winter Park that they picked up and moved.
That's wild to me.
I
Wild.
know.
But I will say I do love this about this church because near the gates where the tours, like ghost tours, will commonly stop, the church put up a little sign and it says the only ghost at St. Philip's Church is the Holy Ghost.
That's funny.
I was like, that's
Very
actually
clever.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Um, so the churchyard of St. Philip's contains over 3,000 burials. And it's, like I said, one of the most haunted sites in Charleston's historic district. The church congregation dates back to 1680, and its first dedicated building was constructed in 1682 on the site of what is now another church, which is St. Michael's. So the congregation relocated to this Church Street location in 1723. And like I said, in 1835, there was a fire. It burned part of it down. And the current building reopened in 1838 and has been dubbed the Westminster Abbey of South Carolina for a number of notable people who are buried within its precincts, but also it's just obnoxiously large. Like it's
Yeah.
probably like the tallest steeple in Charleston, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
Um, and there is some like storylines behind it, but I did learn something, a fun fact, which we might have talked about before, and now I'm like just questioning everything. But the difference between a cemetery and a graveyard,
We've had this conversation like 8 times, but I always forget which is which.
we have?
Yes, because one of them is attached to a church and one of them is not.
Damn
But
it.
I can't remember which is which.
Yeah, okay. So this is like sort of like effect and affect. I never know when I'm
Yes.
supposed to use it in a sentence.
Yes.
Well, for listeners, a graveyard is something that is attached to a church. It's on
Makes
church
sense.
property, while a cemetery is a large burial ground,
Hmm.
not attached to a church.
Okay.
And the reason why I bring this up is because St. Philip's Church has both. Originally, they had everything was just a graveyard, but then the city of Charleston, as it was becoming more boisterous and like streets were being built, the city was like, hey guys, we need to build a street here to connect these two roads. It's going
Yep.
to have to happen. And basically what they did is they picked up all the tombstones, like the city
And
picked up the tombstones and just like threw them
yeah.
and then just paved over the bodies,
Yep.
which is disgusting. I will say that the churchyard features some very famous people, including people who signed the Declaration of Independence, several members of the Continental Congress, a vice president, which was John Calhoun, and some authors and politicians. I don't know. History. They don't let you into the cemetery or
Yeah.
graveyard,
That makes sense.
obviously.
Yeah.
They're like, we don't need you in here, babe. But the story that they were talking about while we were on this tour, and it's one of the ghosts that you'll commonly see, is about Boney. So Boney, who was a slave, and this was
Hmm.
back in the 1790s into the 1800s. And have you heard of his story?
Mm-mm.
Okay. The way you said, I was like, oh, she knows.
No, no. I was just
So
like, yeah, I'm listening.
he was enslaved, and he worked on uh like he was basically, like, it sounds messed up to say, like rented out to the church to help with like keeping up with the graveyard and attending to fixing things and so forth. And during the Great Fire of 1796, it had been Boney who actually climbed the roof and swatted away flames from the
Wow.
church, and he saved essentially the church with his bare hands.
Damn.
And as a result of that, the congregation realized that he, one, was a hero, and two, deserved his freedom. So they
Hmm.
actually raised money to buy him his freedom from his owner, his slave owner. And he cost about $17,000, which is
Wow.
insanely expensive for
Yeah.
a slave, because at the time you could buy a slave's freedom for about $400.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think it's a situation of, the slave owner probably knew that he was worth money at that point and they wanted to do
Yeah.
something. Regardless, he bought his freedom. He could have gone and done whatever he wanted with his life afterwards, but he chose to stay and work at the church. He wanted to be a part of the congregation, and he wanted to help with protecting the church and the people who are in it. So when he passed, he, one, was buried there, but also there are stories of his sightings, and it's mostly him like tending to the gardens or walking through the hallways, and then also, of course, standing on the roof and swatting away at the bad energy or bad things that might be coming. um, and they were telling us the story about this family that lived right next to the church, and this was not too long after Boney had passed. And I don't know if like there's like, basically the game was that you would be in charge, like as kids you would have to go walk from one end of the graveyard all the way to the other, or of the cemetery all the way to the other end, and make it back without getting scared or getting caught by any of the ghosts.
Mm-mm.
And so this also sort of leans to this game that I used to play with my brothers called Ghost in the Graveyard. Did you ever play that?
No, I didn't play in graveyards at all.
Oh no, that's cool. um Yeah, because basically they were telling us the story, and essentially it is documented that there's this little girl named Sally who passed away in the cemetery, and it's because she died of fright. But essentially what they would do is you'd take like a walking stick essentially,
Hmm.
and you would have to walk all the way to the far end of the cemetery, stick the walking stick in the ground, walk all the way back, And then the next morning, if the stick was still there, that meant that there was no ghosts. If the stick had been moved, that meant a ghost had moved your stick.
Okay.
And she was in charge of doing it that time. So she walked all the way to the back when she got scared, because obviously your mind starts to make things up.
Yeah.
She stuck the stick in the ground and turned to run and was stuck, like something grabbed her. In
Yeah.
reality, it was her dress that was stuck to the stick, causing her
Oh,
to panic and die of fright.
that's
But
so
the rule
sad.
always was that you would see Boney walking around and making sure that nobody was playing games in the cemetery.
Yeah.
So there's that. All right, next one. I did not know about Edward, Jesus Christ, Edgar Allan Poe
You're
being
close.
a friend of Charleston area.
I didn't either.
I'm just gonna see myself out, Edward. Gosh,
Edward Cullen and
that's
Edgar
what I
Allan
was
Poe.
thinking immediately. As soon as I said Edward, I was like, Cullen? No. Grace, get it together. Anyways, so Edgar Allan Poe, which is, if you don't know, one of America's most famous writers, is often associated with dark Gothic tales and a troubled personal life. While his work explores the themes of death, despair, and madness, few people know that Charleston played a significant role in shaping his experiences. So in 1827, hoping to flee the oppression of his father, like his foster father, Edgar enlisted in the U.S. Army, and he listed under an alias Edgar A. Perry because he was under 18. And by the time he did turn 18, he was assigned to the infantry at Fort Moultrie on Sullivan's Island, which is basically right next to Charleston.
Okay.
And so this military stint marked a pivotal chapter in his life, and that would later inspire his short story, The Gold Bug. So set on Sullivan's Island, The Gold Bug weaves a tale of cryptography, treasure hunting, and mystery, reflecting Poe's fascination with codes and hidden meanings. His time stationed at Fort Moultrie likely provided a vivid imagery of his coastal landscapes and isolation that permeate the story. So, on top of that, he also is known for a deeper tie to Charleston, and that is for falling in love. So he fell in love with a woman named Annabel Lee. And so Annabel Lee is one of his most famous poems. I would say probably one of the most famous poem. And this is when he was 18. He had fallen in love with Annabel. And it was Annabel Ravenel, and she was the daughter of a wealthy Charleston family. So it was very much like young and in love, and let's run off together. And her father forbade her seeing him. So when Edgar was sent up on a mission or whatever, enlisted, or what's it called, put on a tour to like the north, essentially
He's off
they
to
were.
battle. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm like, words are hard.
Yep.
They would write letters to one another, and then her letters stopped going to him, and it's because obviously her father had something to do with it. And it was one of those things where he was, distraught and would try to come visit her and all these things. Well, she passed away, and when she died, her father was so against Edgar coming and like mourning her loss at her gravestone that he actually had 6 gravestones made for Annabelle in the cemetery.
Oh my God.
And she was not buried in any of them. She was buried in an unmarked grave at a different location.
That's so sad.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where, and all the gravestones are still there, the headstones.
Wow.
Yeah, and so the cemetery, it's super unique. It's like a nature preserve forward type thing. So essentially the gravestones there's like little plaques on the ground, and then trees are growing up over everything, and it's very beautiful. But so like as he was telling the story, he doesn't tell you. The guy who was doing the tour was like, didn't say it was Edgar Allan Poe, just kept saying that it was this guy who, was madly in love with this girl named Annabelle and blah, 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 blah. And then at the end, he's like, it's Edgar Allan Poe. And I was like, holy shit. And I was like, why did it take me so long to figure that out? Because he kept saying Annabelle Lee, and I was like, why do I know her?
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I know her somehow. But yeah, so anyways, her dad did her dirty because That's sort of fucked
Yeah,
up to
so
be
selfish.
unmarked grave. Yeah. And he came back to mourn her loss and couldn't find her, which is also depressing.
It's
So,
horrible.
yeah, it was. So, next thing. I also learned this. Did you might this might go with the cemetery and graveyard situation
It's okay. Ask
about
me.
putting crossbones on a headstone.
No.
Okay, so I learned that headstones, gravestones, whatever you're going to call it,
Hmm.
if you had back in the 17 and 1800s, if you had if you're like a bodice or like a headstone was put or a head was carved into the top of the gravestone, that meant that that was supposed to be a reflection of you or who you were. And then depending on the religion, they had different signs or different etchings into them.
Hmm.
But a big one was putting crossbones on your headstone, and that was to indicate to grave robbers that if they were to rob you, that you would come back to haunt them,
Oh
which I thought was
shit.
very cool.
That is
Yeah.
cool.
So essentially, there was, I guess, this widespread time where people were putting crossbones on their graves headstones, and the families would know that if somebody had robbed, like if there was a grave robber and they came through and did whatever they needed to do, they could tell that grave robbers stayed away from the crossbones,
Hmm.
which is
I guess that
interesting.
makes sense because the skull and crossbones was like a universal sign
Like poison and
for pirates and then for
oh yeah,
poison and just to say like do not enter like danger.
yeah, that's true.
And then can you imagine like all it would take back then is like us being in the cemetery and you being like, I wonder why they have crossbones. And then I'd be like, oh, it's because if you rob the grave, you'll be haunted. And then it spreads like wildfire. And then everybody thinks that, you know?
This is true. You're not
We
wrong.
would thrive because we would gossip so well.
We would gossip so
We
well.
would start so much lore.
I mean,
Mm,
that's like I just want to start a rumor all the time.
me
I'm
too.
like, let's just get into it. I like
Yeah,
cracked the joke
let's
the other
do
day
it.
during work about boats not floating, and I was like, God, Grace, shut up. My literal job is about boats now.
I hope that I hope that if we have avid listeners who are outside of Grace's immediate friend group, I hope that that's your one takeaway is boats don't float.
Straight to jail. It's fine. Everything's fine,
Uh,
guys. Okay, so now let's talk about another story I heard. Do 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 do. Okay, so this is a lord that is created by the Gula people of the region. So the southern coast of South Carolina is home to a very culture rich area and it's rich in African history and heritage. So Gula, after the Creole language spoken here, is the Gula people along South Carolina's coast that basically have their own culture, language, and is very well respected by other South Carolinians. Basically, they have a folklore or a tale of a boo hag. So it's
mhm.
Boohag. Do you know of these?
No.
Oh, okay. So the Gula believe that a person has a spirit and a soul, and that when a person has departed the earth, if the spirit is good, it ascends to heaven, but if it is bad, it lingers here and becomes a boo hag.
Mm.
So, according to the boo hag legend, it is very dangerous. It essentially is this creepy, scary. The way the guy was describing it, I was like, I'm getting the heebie-jeebies, and we were standing in the middle of a cemetery while he did it, and I was like, this
Yeah,
is
of course.
I was like, you're like definitely earning your tip, but also at the same
Hmm.
time, like, I don't need this juju with me, thank you.
No.
Um, Essentially, the boo hag is this creature that slips into your house, and any cracks or crevices in the foundation or in your windows, and this is while
Great.
you are sleeping. And what it will do is it will um, sit on your chest, and it pushes the air out of your body, and it
Mm.
takes the air from your lungs. And that's not even half of it, because the other half is that as it sucks the life out of your lungs, it will slip into your skin and use your body as a muse throughout the night. So it
Gross.
will then leave in the early morning hours. And so you will know if you had a boo hag visit you, because you will be exhausted after you've slept all night.
Great.
Um, and you won't remember anything from sleeping the next day. And
Great.
the thing that's crazy about this, like, this is definitely like a take it with a grain of salt situation. But my colleague the night before So originally we didn't book this tour until like 20 minutes beforehand because we didn't know if
Hmm.
we were going to have time. We were working every day. I was like, meh. So the day before, when we were driving to work, they were like, I did not sleep last night. They're like, there's no way I slept. I feel like I closed my eyes and woke up and it was 10 minutes had gone by.
Yeah.
And she was explaining to me that she felt like as if she had like run a marathon in her sleep.
Oh my God.
So, and she's super into this stuff. Like she is
Yeah.
like me. Like we 100% are like we're in it, you know? And we're standing in opposite sides of this group while he's telling us the story about the boo hack. So I'm in the back, she's in the front, and like
I would
it's
literally be like,
well, that's so what she did. So first of all, it's like dark as shit outside,
hmm.
right? And people have their phones out to take pictures and stuff, but you're not like on your phone, like turning your flashlight on or anything.
Right, right, right.
But I like, as he's explaining this, like saying you'll be exhausted after you wake up, and she like must look up and her phone light turns on like to show her face, and she's like, and I'm like, and it was like the
Oh
perfect
my
moment
God.
because I was like, oh my God, that's you. And then she texted me and was like, it's me. The boo hag was in my room last night.
Literally.
And it's because she slept with her door cracked too. Not
Mm-mm.
the like door to the hallway, the door to the balcony. I should have
That's
prefaced that.
scary too. Okay,
Yeah,
both are scary.
yeah. And so we had asked, like, are there ways to ward off a boo hag from
Hmm.
coming at you?
Okay.
And one of them, well, the main thing is through counting. So, boo hags supposedly are obsessive about numbers. So, before you go to bed, you're supposed to place something next to you that involves a lot of counting, whether it be a broom, a hairbrush, or a kitchen colander. They also suggested for us, like, putting salt or sugar next to your bed. And the boo hag won't be able to focus on taking your breath because it'll be so focused on counting the grains of salt or whatever it may be.
That's iconic.
It sort of is. And let me tell you, like, there are a lot of people in South Carolina that still like very much believe in boo hags.
Yeah.
And another thing is like you're not supposed to look into the big trees at night. You don't look into
Hmm.
them because you'll find the red eyes. And if you make eye contact with him, that means it's gonna follow you home.
Oh, fuck.
And so like as soon as he's saying it, I'm like,
Scared. I know. I'm like,
where are the red dots?
I'm literally inside and I'm like, oh.
Yeah. And the the other thing that's crazy is like, I mean, this might just be us at this point, but literally that night we've got sugar packets and we
Hmm.
put them next to our beds and like took them out and like dumped them on the counter and we both slept like babies.
Well, I'm gonna do that tonight.
You should.
Yeah.
Especially because if you look up blue hags, they're very scary. They're like
I will
scaly, like they look
inquire
like people
my
without
skills
skin.
now. Ew.
Well, I tried.
I'm looking it up.
Go ahead. That was like my main stories I got from
Oh, they're
my.
kind of like succubus. Like a succubus. They
Oh,
are
what?
very creepy.
Yeah,
Like,
aren't
you know,
they?
in like medieval times, and like it was like a demon would sit on your chest, like a sleep paralysis demon.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah. So I then tried to go.
Wait, wait,
Wait.
wait. You left off the most scary part.
Oh, which part?
It says by day a boo hag appears human, but sheds its skin at night to hunt, often described as being bright red with visible veins.
I mean, yeah, like it's hanging out somewhere. I thought it was just in the
Ew.
trees. I didn't know that part.
This might come from different like cultures too. It might vary culture to culture.
Oh. So this is now off topic because, I mean, those are the like main heavy hitting stories I wanted to bring up. But then I was like,
Yeah.
Grace, like look on Reddit, see if there's any good Reddit stories. And all I found on Reddit were trolls, and I'm I just can't because I literally find this one person. It's like, oh my gosh, this strange, unexplainable experience I had in Charleston. So I start to read it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what type of story are they setting me up for? Like, they're talking about the weather and where they were in the city and blah, blah, blah. And then literally the sentence was, well, the guy was driving a lifted pickup truck and he turned on his turn signal. And that was really unexplainable.
Oh my God.
And I immediately was like, straight to jail. Get the fuck
I
out.
would have been like, are you fucking kidding?
I read this whole entire beginning just for them to be like, you know what's really unexplainable? Someone using their turn signal.
Literally in the
Get fucked.
South. Oh my God.
And a lot of the other stuff that you're going to see on Reddit would be pictures from ghost tours and stuff like that. And I've gone
Mhm.
through my photos and I like definitely think there's like little orbies, but I know you're not into the orbs. So
Hey, listen, just because I don't believe in them doesn't mean they're not real.
she's an orb hater.
I am an orb hater.
Yeah, it's okay. No, I think of the whole tour and like while I was in the city, I got the heebie jeebies, I think like 3 times. One was we walked down again, me like not paying attention to my surroundings. We're walking down Philadelphia Alley one night and I didn't even know it was Philadelphia Alley. Like my coworker was like, "Oh, let's cut through this way." I was like, "Okay." And we're like walking and I'm like, "Ooh, this doesn't." I literally just turned to her and I was like, "Ooh, I'm getting creeped out." And she was like,
Yeah,
"You're kidding, right?" Like she thought I was joking.
yeah.
She was like, "Come on, Grace." And I was like, "No, like I'm getting creeped out." And she was like, "Are you fucking with me?" And I was like, "I don't think so."
Heebie-jeebies. You're like,
Yeah.
I don't know anymore. Stop
I was like,
asking me.
something's wrong. And she's like, it's Philadelphia Alley, you idiot. And I'm like, oh God. And then I was by myself one night, not like, okay, that's you're gonna yell at me and be like, stranger danger. I was walking by myself in a
Literally.
well-lit area, and
Hmm.
at one point I stopped to get dessert because priorities. And I think I was texting you during this, and
Love
everyone
it.
at that place was miserable. But
Yeah.
when I
Yes.
left, I was walking to another bar and it was like I was standing at a street corner waiting for the light to turn, and all I could hear was like the cobblestone, the horse walking
Hmm.
on the cobblestone, and I turned and there was no horse there. And I was like, there's no fucking way I just heard that and I didn't see like there's has to be a horse here.
Yeah.
And so I like literally like spent 10 minutes trying to find this horse and I could never find one.
No. No thanks.
And I was like, because then I did one of those things where I'm like looking around to see if anyone else heard it, you
Yeah.
know? Like trying to play it cool at the same time. I was like, I only had one drink, so how am I like already tripping? You know what I mean?
That's so funny.
So yeah, but yeah, that's what I learned on my ghost tour in Charleston.
That's amazing. You did
Oh,
great.
thank you, thank you. I'll be here all week. So yeah, anything else you wanted to add for this week?
No, I did want to look up. I was looking up where heebie-jeebies came from, the term.
Where'd it come from?
It was coined by someone in a comic. I thought it was going to be like one of those things where it's like heebie-jeebies means.
I thought it was like from Jeepers Creepers.
That's what I thought. Well, when I was like heebie-jeebies, and I was like, it's kind of like Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought. Eh,
Yep.
but anywho, if you made it this far, thank you so much for listening to my rambling for the past 45 minutes. I
Hmm.
really appreciate it. If you like what you had to hear today, make sure you like, follow, subscribe, send us to a friend, leave us a review, subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're not watching on YouTube right now, go watch us. If you're on
Yes.
YouTube, hey, what's up? Give us a thumbs up.
What up?
What up, dog? Couple of ways you can reach out to us or follow us. We have social media, which is at Wait For Real Pod. We also have our email, which is waitforrealpod@gmail.com. You can also send us a text. It's in our show notes. We can't see who sent it, but we can see who sent it.
We
We can't
can't
reply.
reply. Yeah.
So it's going to be a one-sided conversation for all parties involved.
Hmm.
What else? If you have stories that you want to send us, because now we're going into like Thanksgiving and then Christmas season, and we love talking spooky stuff about Christmas.
We do.
If you have any ideas, let us know because we can't just make up all this content ourselves, guys. Get to work. Our listeners, get the fucking work.
That's right.
Is there anything else? Oh wait, if you want to help support us financially, you can by buying us a cup of
Mhm.
coffee. Buy one for my birthday, guys. Come on.
Right. That's right. Birthday
Mama's
coffee.
poor. I didn't even get my birthday Starbucks. I was too sick.
You were very sick. Oh my God.
Yeah, I was very upset about it. So I spent $7 on a coffee the next day, but here we are.
Fair. That's fair.
Anywho, is there anything else we need to touch on today?
Nope. Nothing
No.
else.
All right. Well, then we'll leave it as we always do.
Go to therapy.
And don't forget to leave lights on.